All right, we're at the IndieCade here of E3, and we're looking at Tower Guns. Terrible Posture Games, great name. How long were you brainstorming that for?
That one took me a while. I had some real terrible names before that, and then I just kind of stood up and it came to me.
And immediately registered the domain name, right?
Oh, yes, yeah. Actually, that was why I chose it, because the domain name is available.
Well, tell us about the game. What are we seeing here today?
You're seeing a roguelike-ish first-person shooter. It's not quite a true roguelike, but it is as close as you could get to a game like Binding of Isaac mixed with Quake. It's very fast-paced, first-person shooter, old-school mechanics, a lot of circle strafing, a lot of quick speed movements, a lot of rocket jumping, things like that. And at the same time, there's lots of random elements, random levels, random creatures, random bosses, items, power-ups. So the idea is that the game only takes an hour to play, but it's going to take you 30 or 40 tries before you ever beat it, and each one of those experiences should be fresh and unique.
And the guns, the weapons you choose basically define your class?
Yes, the weapons are basically your classes. Like how another roguelike would have classes like Sorcerer, Thief, Warrior, here you have your shotgun or your machine gun, or basically first-person shooter guns are the first-person classes. So, first-person shooter classes, sorry. So anyway, though, you unlock those guns as you play, and those are pretty much the only thing that sticks with you when you die. There's permadeath in the game, but if you've unlocked a new weapon or if you've unlocked a new perk, those things carry through. So the game gets easier the more you play, even though you're starting from the beginning each time, and even though the game is the same each time.
Well, what's the sort of design of the levels? What's the sort of design of the enemies? What thought process are you doing with the...
Well, I tried my best to think like an 8-year-old would. I really wanted to go back to when there were no limits behind what the story could be or what the world could be like or what the levels could be like. So there's really no invisible walls. You can get anywhere. There's items that help you get everywhere. There's secrets that I've hidden all over the place. It's really like an old school mechanic. It's really an old school style of shooter. I really try and encourage the player to go all over the place and move fast while they're doing it and dodge all sorts of crazy enemies that have blades everywhere and rockets everywhere, and it's almost like a first-person shooter bullet hell. So, yeah.
I was going to say, is there a story? Do we need a story for this type of game?
What do you mean, in terms of the story of the studio or the
story of the game itself?
I'm not talking too much about the story of the game yet, but mostly because I'm trying a couple of things that I'm not sure if they're going to be fun yet or not, so I'm holding that off for a little bit right now. But the basic premise right now is that you're at the bottom of the Tower of Guns, and you need to get up to the top of it. And there's a boss at every floor of the way.
Well, tell us about the studio. How did you get this set up? Because it's just yourself and your brother.
Yes, it is just me making the game. I do all of the coding, all of the art, all of the design, all of the effects and animation. My brother, though, does the music. And my wife helps as a producer. She basically tells me when I'm spending too much time on something I shouldn't be. So she keeps me on track. But it is otherwise just me. And I used to work for big-budget AAA games, but I decided I wanted to go indie after the last studio I worked for went out of business. And, well, if the studio's going to go out of business, I can do that well. So, yeah, I've kind of struck it out on my own. I've been working on Tower of Guns since about September of last year, and my official release date is before the next Thief game comes out. Because when the new Thief game comes out, I'm going to take a week off and just play that straight, and I don't want to feel guilty.
I like that. I like the way you're selling that.
It's very honest.
What was the inspiration behind it? I mean, why did you want to do this?
Well, so last game I worked on when I was AAA was a very high-profile MMO. I was working for 38 Studios, and the project was awesome, and the team was awesome, and the people were awesome, and it's really heartbreaking to have all of that work taken out from under you, and no one will ever see it, and that can be really heartbreaking. So I decided I wanted to do a much smaller development experience, and I wanted to kind of focus on what a single developer could do for a single player. So that's kind of what Tower of Guns is. It's like what one developer could make for a single player. And it maximizes everything that I know how to do well and minimizes what I don't know how to do.
I would say that what you do well. I mean, have you had to learn on some new tricks in designing this?
I've had to learn a lot of new tricks, and what I didn't know how to do originally, I now do know how to do. So I'm able to add in some things that I thought I wouldn't be able to. But it's been a lot of fun. I get to learn, like back at 38 Studios, I got to wear a lot of hats anyway. I was environment art and tech art and lighting and prototyping, and I was doing a lot of different things. So I was kind of a good fit to kind of shift my way into an indie role, but I've had to learn a whole lot of new hats. And it's been fun, but it's also incredibly, you get overwhelmed very easy, and you can feel daunted very easily, especially when you're working as a sole developer.
Yeah, you're working solo with a little bit of help, but are you doing this 24/7, or are you integrating this as part of your usual weekly schedule?
Well, I am doing this 24/7. I've been wanting to do this for years, strike out on my own and kind of make my own project. And it really wasn't until 38 Studios went out of business that I was kind of given the kick in the butt and being like, hey, get your butt out the door and try and do this on your own. So I've given myself a set amount of time, and I'm basically going to work 24/7 and make it happen as much as I can. And if I end up going back into the AAA industry after a little while, that's okay. I mean, I really just wanted to go and do something that was riskier that you wouldn't really see a AAA game studio pushing out. So I really wanted to kind of do some of these ideas on my own and see how they played out.
Okay, well, where can people play this? I mean, are you thinking about basically doing some sort of teaser beta or anything like that, or is it going to be just the full release?
Well, actually, people can pre-order it now. For $5, you can go to towerofguns.com and you can pre-order the game. It's only 26% complete right now, but you can play the dev builds, and every single time I push out a new dev build, you'll get an update. So there's another build coming out on Monday, and then every 6 to 8 weeks I release another build. And it's only $5 now, but it's also only 26% complete, so be kind. So it is in progress, but working as a single developer, it's very hard to get feedback from people because you don't have a whole lot of people around you. With a AAA studio, you have people who are constantly giving you, feedback one way or the other. So I'm constantly looking for feedback from the community, from people. So if you pre-order and you play it, then please let me know what you think.
Okay, listen, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.